Hello and welcome back to Robinsunne Art Studio. My name is Robinsunne. Please do like and comment and subscribe and share this video with anyone else who might also enjoy this video. So this is the book we made in the last video. There are 16 pages that are this big, and if you use, both sides of the accordion, then we have 32 pages of fun and enjoyment. The only thing I really wanted to show you on this blank one, and then we're going to go back and work in this one, but you know how we had glued all of these pages together using this little tab? Well, on the front cover, we don't need the tab. So what I've been doing is folding it the other way, taking a little glue, and just folding it in, and I figure that that's going to give this foredge of the cover just a little more strength. Pretty sure I did that with this one. Yeah, I can feel a little ridge under there. So you can't see it. It won't show up. Especially if you mat the pages. Yeah, so there we are. Okay, so this is a plain book, and this is a book that I have started putting decorations into. And then I left a bunch of the back pages because I wanted to show you how I've been matting the pages. These are all hand-drawn papers here. Well, except that one that's typed on a computer. Yeah, so let's play right here. I have so many of these. See if I can get this all arranged so that it's going in the right direction and you can see it. Yes. So I have lots of papers that I have hand drawn the first time, and then I make copies of this just in black and white on my photocopier. It's the same paper. This one I enlarged a whole lot, and you'll see that it's like really fuzzy, the lines, where it bled into this is just copy paper, so not the finest quality, and which means that even when you use pens that usually don't bleed, if you draw it this size, if you enlarge it, you can see where the pen really does bleed. But I kind of like this. I think it's really, I don't know, kind of wild and crazy. Some more swirls, more little budlets, more of this super enlarged swirls, more swirls, more little budlets, different kind of budlet. All right, so these and zillions of other pages, like here's a diamond page, here's an arrow page. This I made in lines because I was going to make faux washi tape, and I'll talk about that in a little while. The arrow page. These are spirals with an arrow. The diamond, some more kind of faux washi tape papers. Okay, so that's that. let's start gluing. Now, I did this ahead of time because it's kind of long and tedious, and I took a bunch of papers over to my paper cutter and cut them to the correct size. So these pages are 4 inches across, like exactly, and 5.5 inches tall, exactly. So what I did when I was cutting them is I pulled in the measurements just a little bit so that when I placed the paper down, there's a little bit of space, and when I fold the pages, the paper that I mat with there and the paper that I mat with here won't bump into each other. So you do see the, like if you used colored cardstock, you'd see that through. But anyway, and here is a trick that I learned from, I think her name is Rachel from Roxy Creations. I think that's right. And it works out really well. So if I was to take glue and glue it all over, I would actually get this paper pretty wet, and it might bubble up a little bit, and I would not like the look of that. So what I'm doing is taking some of my Scotch Create glue stick, which is a lovely glue stick. Works pretty well. So I'm not going all the way out to the edges, so I don't have a matting paper underneath, because I'm not like going over the edge there. And then I'm going to, on this paper, just do a line or so of white glue right around the edge. And we'll put that down. So the stick glue did not get all the way to the edge, but the white glue is kind of taking up the space right at the edge. So I love this because the glue stick, especially this one, which is kind of a nice glue, it's a little above the school glue sticks that are way less expensive, but they also don't hold quite as well or as long. So the glue stick holds this paper flat, and then the white glue just goes around the edge and makes everything very permanent, which is great. So let's do another couple of pages. And I'm putting the white glue on the paper because this paper is actually a little smaller than the cardstock page of the book. And I kind of wouldn't know where to put the white glue if I was gluing onto the cardstock, because it would be a little unclear as to exactly where this paper fell. Remarkably enough, it's not too hard to then stick this where I want it. So there are lots of papers here. There's some big stars, some little stars, some flowers. There's also some paper cuts. I just glued a bunch of different colored paper cuts, which is why this came out gray rather than black. They're not black paper cuts. They were like orange and brown and stuff. So all kinds of different paper cuts, even some of these very enlarged swirls. And I'm not sure I'm going to use these in this book. I think I'll use it in that book and make sort of a writing journal. But I had some hand-drawn lines and hand-drawn lines with these sort of almost dahlia-looking flowers. So I'm going to have a handwritten book next, I think, or a book for writing in. All right, let's see if we can get this going. All right. So that's it. This is the whole video. Oh, actually it's not, but so we can be generous with this glue. So actually it's not, because I wanted to talk a little bit about putting some decorations in your book that are also hand-drawn. And while we're at it, let's talk a little bit about the joys of self-expression. This is what I feel when I make that's right. When I make my own papers, like these big papers, I get to put my mark on the world, and I totally appreciate everybody else who has these mad computer skills and can juxtapose old-fashioned writing with old-fashioned, I don't know, pictures of flowers, maybe even engravings. Just beautiful, beautiful, and they can tweak the colors and all that stuff. I don't know how to do that. I'm A, old enough, and B, stubborn enough to not be choosing to not spend my time learning how to do all of that. But that means I don't have those papers. So I had to come up with something else, and what I came up with was making these pages. And one of the things I can do with these pages is color these in, using it as a coloring book. So, by the way, this is what I'm going to do with all the rest of the pages, is I'm going to mat them like that. And I think what we'll do with these 3 center pages here is put on some little tiny journaling cards. And I made these cards all really little so that they would fit into this book without overwhelming the page. So I have here 2 big pages that I put together. Now, what I did was, like, I drew these cards, and they're probably about this big. This one is about this big. They're much bigger in real life, the way I drew them, and it's easier to draw them a little bigger so you're not getting minuscule. And then I shrank them on the computer. You know, I just lined them up on the glass and shrank them all about 50%, I think. And these are rubber stamps. That's a rubber stamp. These are, I think of this as Archangel Michael. These 2. This, I hadn't cut the little feather marks on his wing. Anyway, I like that. And some pretty, this is, I think as big as a postcard, 4x6. So anyway, I drew them all big, and then I put them on the glass and shrank them down about 50%. And then I put them together and printed them out you know, so that one whole page has lots of different images on it. And then I printed it on different colors of cardstock. And I did that over here too. And I want to talk about these in a minute, but these are just more pictures. What have we got? We've got some compass star kinds of images there. So I've been cutting these out and making bunches of them to put inside books. I love this. It's like a little postage stamp. And so I've got it on gold cardstock and yellow. Somewhere there's one in red. Here's one in purple. So it's just really fun to have all of these. There's a little fake postage stamp thing. And another one. These are 6s. This is a 10-cent stamp. So, yeah, little flowers. I don't know, whatever images come into your life that are important to you is the thing. And these are stacked medallions that I also lined up on the glass of my printer and then shrank 50%. And this, can you see that? Yeah. So this is what they look like in real life. And I glued this one on 3 sides kind of and made it into a pocket so that I could fit this little card inside. And I wanted to show you some of the stacked label medallions that I made. Let me just check on our time. All right, we should be coming to the end shortly, but let me just show you. This is how I make them. I take a little piece of paper, fold it in half one way, and make that crease kind of purposeful and sharp, and then fold it in half the other way. And I cut from here to there, so I just cut this edge, and you'll notice that this edge is a mirror to that, and this edge is a mirror to that edge. I hope that makes sense to you. So we want the center fold of the paper. That's where I'll hold it, so I remember where that is. So this is all the open edges out here. And maybe we could put a point on this, and then a little round. Let's put a bit of a corner, and let's go with another round coming up to another point. So that's what I just cut off. And then we open it. Oh, this is a pretty one. And open it, and you get this pattern. So I did that with this one, you can see. And I cut it out of this medium green and then glued it onto a pale green piece of cardstock, and just very carefully fussy cut this pale green edge, and then I glued it onto the dark green and fussy cut again. So here's one I did in purple. This is a heart, you knew that. Here's another one I did. So this just has some pretty straight edges. but lovely and effective. So that's what I cut. Straight edge, straight, straight, and then just a little bit of a curve. So, and then I traced, put it on a piece of yellow paper and traced it and cut that out. And then I glued it onto a piece of red paper and just fussy cut all the way around. And then I glued it onto orange paper, fussy cut all the way around again. So, yes, this takes a while, and some people, a feather, a flower. Consider this a little obnoxious, a little labor intensive, but for me, it beats the labor intensity of computers. So this is what I do, and computer people get to do what they do and what you all do. And there we are. Oh, this is kind of a fun one. So that's the cut. So I went in and did a little zigzag, and then a round, and then a corner, and then another round, and then another zigzag. So that's some serious fussy cutting. So anyway, these are, I think of them as label medallions because they look like the labels on a jam jar or sometimes bottles of wine. I don't know, pickle jars, anything. So I call them label medallions, as opposed to this, which kind of is a circle medallion on this little fake postage stamp. And then they're stacked because there's one color of blue, two colors of blue, and a black. So they're all stacked up on top of each other. So at some point, I will go in and start gluing down all these little precious treasures. Ooh, and I wanted to show you, I do have this, and I have to hurry before my phone cuts out on me. These are some of the, papers that I've been, so this is the full size of these cards, and when they get here, so there's the full side of this sort of dahlia thing, and here's shrunken down 50%, and here's just a mark making page. I hope I'm not catching this in the glare. I love this one. Isn't this great? I meant to go copy some of these. I did copy some of these. What did I do with them? I don't know. And then this is faux washi tape. So here's the full size. It's, oops, I must have printed on the back of this. This is, if I was going to take some of the backing off, you can see there are my fingers underneath. It's pretty clear, and so I've just printed out on my inkjet printer, and somewhere I have the original page of this, so I just spent an afternoon filling up a page with lovely designs. And then let's see if, so here is a design of sort of a brick wall, and let's see, this is just on paper, not on this sticky Avery paper. They're labels. They're called full-size labels. So they're 8.5 by 11 sticky labels. And the picture on the front of the Avery is the name of the company, Avery. Staples have them, probably all the office supply stores have them, and places like Amazon, and I think even places like Walmart. So a lot of the big box stores would have these. So here is some faux washi tape, which is this sticky paper. And this is just printed on white paper. But I could take, this is a watercolor marker by Crayola. And I can color in. And then I can have red roses coming up the side of my book, which is very fun. And I made a little mistake there. Don't notice that. Okay, so we have to go now. And I wish you well. I wish you joy and happiness, and mostly I wish you self-expression. I really encourage you to sit down and make some of your own papers, even if you don't always use them. I just find it amazing to watch what comes out of my heart and soul when I connect to paper, and what apparently my heart and soul and brain think are important images for me to see all the time. So I wish you lots of time to make beautiful objects. And this is the end of our little series, but I'll see you next time. Bye.